You have to
record.
switch on the
Yeah, I am just
record.
done. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Suklam Bharadaram Vishnum Sajivarnam Chadurpujam Prasannavadanam Jai Sarvavignopasanti Ramaya Ramapadraya Ramachandraya Vesi Raghunataya Nathaya Sitaya Pataya Namah Manojjudam Marudulivegam Jitendriyam Buddhimadam Varishtam Vadatpajam Vanaryudam Mukyam Sri Ramadutam Sarjanamami Avadavam Vartaram Dataram Sarvasampatam Lokabhiramam Sriramam Bhuyo Bhuyo Namamiham Martanamati Hantaram Vitanam Vidinasnam Dusharam Kaladandandam Ramachandram Namamiham Kujantam Ramarامेति मधुरं मधुराक्षरं आरुह्य कविता शाखां वन्दे वाल्मीकि कोकिलं चरितं रघुनाथस्य शतकोटिप्रविस्तरं एकैकम् अक्षरं पुंसां महापातकनाशनम्. Welcome friends, and we are going to see what we have recited yesterday and partly today. This is from Sarga 48 onwards. We have seen till 47 earlier. One of the things what had happened was because as he was about to leave Ashokavana after taking the permission from Masita, she gave the permission for him to leave, and he asked him to take care of his own welfare, because she didn't want him to be caught in the turmoil here, because his main purpose is to find out where Sita is. That is the purpose for which Sugriva has sent him as a messenger to serve the purpose of Rama, and that is why Rama has also given him all the insignia, so that because he will be able to prove the authentication, and he has successfully proved the authentication, met Sita and gave her the assurance. She also could understand, he has been specifically sent by Rama, and Sugriva has assigned him this job, and his job is mainly to find out Sita. Basically, his job is nothing more than that. But after that, because having been a diplomat, because normally you have to go beyond, because what has been, you will have to stretch yourself, to do what is your purpose of your visit, because you will have to make an assessment of the opponents or the enemy, who is there, because it is assess his strength, as well as to know what are all the strategies that is possibly they will be able to execute, and as well as find out, what is the real potential of the entire, the skill and the valor of, all these enemies. In this context only, he just thought he will first invite the attention, because he is not going to be taken seriously. He is a Vanara. The Vanara is not, because he is not neither Devas, nor he is not a Rakshasa or Daitya, nor he is anything else. And because so he is like anyone else, no one could suspect him. That's why he could get in and he could do whatever he wanted and all. So then he took the attention, because he wanted to gather the attention so that, he should be able to find out the strength, as well as he should have an opportunity to meet the Ravana, just to know, because exactly how he looks like and what are all the people around him, what are all his strategies he might execute. He has to get, all those information. He has to get back, so that, when the entire Vanara come, they will have to be prepared. They should not be taken by surprise. In that context only, we said, because he has also talked about, because the project execution skills and planning skills. He has also said, the strategies, how the strategies will have to be adopted, Samadhana, Beda, Danda, and he was telling about all those things. As he was telling, since he wanted to gather the attention, he took, because since Samadhana, Beda is not going to work, Sama will work, with the pious people. Dana will work people who are want of, resources, who are indigent and who are poor, it will work for them. Dana will work for them, and Beda will come, because wherever there is people who are having fear, because these people are demonic and they don't have any fear, because they have the protection of Ravana, and they have been living all along, because in this without any problem whatsoever, they have been having all the wealth, available to them, and all the grandeur available to them. They were making merry and living like that. So they don't have any fear. Beda will also not work. You will not be able to create a difference between them. So finally, he says Danda is the only one. That is what we have seen up to the 47th chapter. So then he, in that context only, because then he destroys, because he says, other than wherever Sita was sitting and the Sinchupa tree, around that area he left, he destroyed the entire the Ashokavana, and he went on destroying other, the edifies around that and all, because to gather the attention finally, because once it has been made known, because he has sent his soldiers and all of them perished, and finally he has said Jambumali, one of the invincible soldier, and who is the son of one Prahasta, he had also come, and he was also finally succumbed to Hanuman's power. And then he said four of his chief of armies, they have been sent, with the adequate force, and they also couldn't contain him. And finally, because having seen all these things, his own son, who was just trying to, get an opportunity to fight, because the young one Aksha, he has been sent, and finally he also succumbs to Hanuman. Having lost his son Aksha, Ravana was in a sort of a, not in a grief, because he was just his arrogance has been taken to the higher level, and his ego has been hurt. And someone, because who was not, because he has got so much of 3-tier, 4-tier protection for the Lanka, and he has got so many spies, he has got all the facilitation around. In spite of it, a person has come and created such a furor here. And how is it possible? He just wanted to take, he doesn't want to take it, lying down. He want to see the logical end of that. Let me find out who is it and all. So the finally, as he was worried, because what he's done finally, because as he expected, his son Indrajit, he is invincible, because he has almost, had won, all the three worlds, and even he has won against the war against the Indra. That's why he's called Indrajit. He's also otherwise called Meghanatha, and he had got a specific boon from Brahma, because so that he can use Brahmastra whenever he wants, whenever the occasion demands, he can do that. And he was also very skillful, and he is perhaps his skills are no less than that of any other one. In Param, he could match Lakshmana's skill to a great extent in the war. So such a powerful son of Ravana, then he comes in front of him, and then he gets a solace. Look, look, it's not that I have not been left without anything, and I've got my this invincible son. He will go and do it, and he calls him and tells him, and look, because you will have to, because you just see the entire army has perished, your own brother, the young boy Aksha has perished, and we cannot simply allow that. But you go and be very careful. He says in a few words, because the Ravana is that way very wise man, strategist, and as well as because he has got all the knowledge available required for a king as well as a strategist. But unfortunately, because his actions have deserted him, because that is the biggest point, and that we will come to know, because in the conversation between Hanuman and Ravana also. At that point of time, because then he says, he says, Indrajit, be careful, because he's son of Marut, and because he cannot be taken for granted, because he moves like wind, because he moves very pretty fast, and because he could not be done, and he changes his stance also, and he can take any shape, because depending upon the requirement. And he also seems to be, because I think, though he seems to be a Vanara, he can't really be a Vanara. He must be belonging to some race. He is someone, I don't know whether he is going to be the representative of Vishnu that has sent a emissary, to find out, or whether he has come from Indra, Varuna. He's trying to worry, whether they have sent, to find out, because the test and try to sort of get into the Lanka and do something and all. So he is having all the suspicions, because the man who has super confidence till yesterday, some sort of, because the fear, just a flicker of fear gets into him, and he says, Indrajit, be careful. Don't take it for granted, and try to go safely, as well as take all precautions, and you got all the boons of Brahma, and try to go as per the war ethics and what is to be done, so that the mantras will work. When you send a Brahmastra, you will have to recite the mantra and send. So when it is being sent, because there are three powers, when a warrior is going to have, that is what the Sundarkandam tells us, which is true, even in the modern warfare, even if it is electronic warfare, whatever it is there, it is the power of mantra. The power of mantra, because possibly it's being replaced by power of software, the missiles and other things are being done. It is the mantra. Whenever you recite a mantra, it gets energized, and the mantra will work. And when it is being accompanied by the true sincerity as well as the purpose for which it is being recited and all. Even in a warfare, if you for going for an illegitimate sort of a illegal action, because perhaps the mantras may not work. It is mantra bala and as well as the atma bala, because the physical strength, and then it is shastra bala, because the weapons what you use, all the three of them together converge and finally gives the victory. This is what because the particular Sargas says, because 48 Sargas says, it also gives the explanation of, we use the word Maharati. Maharati is a word used to show someone, who is a valiant person, who is, because invincible and who is always at the top and all. Maharati is the one who is able to exterminate and defeat all the enemies without having any loss for his own people. The one who is able to protect his own people and able to win as well as sort of the defeat all other enemies who come and whom he has to encounter. That is why Maharati definition has been given, though it just to show that Maharati should be used discriminatively. You cannot call everyone a Maharati. Maharati is someone, and it has been given adequate explanation in Mahabharata also. Some of the commentators have quoted that also. So when he is trying to do and all, then he says, Indrajit, please go and fight with him, and because he could not be controlled by anyone, and he becomes he is appearing to be so invincible, because all my army chiefs have been perished, and the Jambumali has perished, and your own brother Aksha has been perished. You be careful and try to do. And Marutashyasi Gata Pramanam. He has got some power, because perhaps Marut, because he is the Pavan Putra, and he has got some power behind that, because no one can do anything with him. So you will have to be, perhaps, you will have to be very careful and try to control him, subdue him, and bring him here. This is what he says. He gives a very clear direction. It's not that go and kill him or something like that. He knows, he has assessed, because sitting in his own throne, he was able to get the information, he is able to make the assessment. That means, just to show how the prowess of Ravana also, as a sort of a warrior as well as a king, that has also been highlighted, because he no less than anyone who can form the strategy and all. So then when he says, when he asked him to send, because the Indrajit comes and he sends the facilitate of arrows, thousands and thousands, but nothing, everything, because Hanuman takes the different shapes. He covers into the sky, he moves into the sky, he moves so fast, he evades everything become in vain. Finally, he couldn't do anything. Finally, he says, I will have to use the final Brahmastra, for which, you will have to recite the mantra and all. He sends the Brahmastra. When Indrajit sends the Brahmastra, but he thinks, because it's certainly, because Brahmastra is the one finally, because anyone will succumb to that. But the Brahmastra goes and just immobilizes the feet of Hanuman, as it appears. But Hanuman had a boon from Brahma. None of the astras can bind him, ever. So no astras can put him under bondage any time. But then, his purpose is to meet Ravana. So he pretends as if he has been bound. And Indrajit also is having a lurking doubt. I think, because normally a Brahmastra is sent, the man is totally immobilized, and I think he's like into a coma and he just can't do anything, and perhaps he is about to leave his life. But whereas nothing of that sort has happened, because only, he seemed to have been bound by him and all, because he also pretended to be bound, because his purpose is to meet Ravana. And, as if he has meant, and he knows, he took a delight, because let me pretend, let me see what is the fun involved in that, because Hanuman took it. So then finally he was dragged by all the Rakshasas, because it took him in front of Ravana and all. But Indrajit is not convinced. He has not fully bound him. He has, and he has just sent the Brahmastra. Brahmastra has done its job, but not as one would have expected. And he also has a doubt, because there is something, because he was also having what type of a person he is, because even Brahmastra doesn't seem to be working. But he knows, Brahmastra has controlled him, subdued him, and he has done the job, has been given by his father. So he brings him there, and when he comes, then he has been tied around and all. tied around, and he is in front of Ravana. When everyone was crying, because he is the one who has caused all the misery to Lanka, because you kill him, eat him, this and that, and all those things. Ravana was silently watching, because he was trying to find, who is he, who has sent him, whom does he belong, because why, how someone could come and do all these things, and he was wondering. At that point of time, because he didn't, he asked him, because, who are you, you want to ask him. And he was also in a little disbelief, our Hanuman also, because Hanuman, of course, he pretended and he wanted to meet Ravana, he came, but he could see him, he was not, he has not moved even a finger, he was sitting in the throne comfortably, he got everything done. The man who gets everything done sitting in his place, that means he knows all the information, he knows everything possible and who are all the right person to do. Finally, he has sent Indrajit to bring him here. So Ravana, this action, because in fact, it creates some sort of admiration in Hanuman, because he seems to be such a knowledgeable person, and why he did it, because that type of a thing, was coming to him. And then, because he saw Ravana, because his effulgence, because it's the first time he is seeing Ravana, and he was totally taken in by him, the magnificence and the majesty with which he was sitting and surrounded by his ministers. He had four powerful ministers, Durdhara, Prahasta, Mahaparsha, and Nikumba, and four of them, and because very learned fellows and very great ministers, he was surrounded by them. He, after seeing them, and then he saw the opulence in which, because he was sitting and all others, Bhishna and all other people are sitting around him and all. He saw it. It must be some wondrous sight. He has not seen such a thing, anywhere and all. He has been in Kishkinda. He has not seen anything else. But of course, he is having seen that, and he was also wondering, because if having been, such a wise man, having such a knowledge, such a strategy, if we had done the righteous thing, he would have been the one who could have protected the entire earth, and not only earth, even the heaven. When he says heaven, because Lanka was like a heaven, because it has got it had all the wealth, it has got all the facilities, it has got all the sort of in fact, every possible, because type of people, because and he had a lot of wise and Vedic Pandits were there, and he also had people, who can champion, the cause of the big cities, and who can look after the city. The city was maintained so well; it had all the facilities, and no one could see such a place anywhere in the world. Because having seen that, why this man had get into this particular problem? As he was wondering, and Ravana also is wondering, why, because this fellow is, still we don't know from where he has come. He has got 2-3 doubts. Ravana had a curse from Nandiswara. Nandi is the sort of a Vahan. We all know, because he is the Shiva Duta, and Shiva, he is the Nandi is, the part of Shiva. Is the Nandi carries the Shiva, and Nandi is the one who protects Kailasha and all. Long before, there was an episode in which Ravana was his invincible best, in his youth. So he was trying to, he went to Alkapuri, where Kubera, his step brother, was there. He went and got everything, all the wealth and all. He was coming back by Pushpaka Viman. As he was coming by Pushpaka Viman, he has to cross Kailash. As he was about to cross Kailash, Nandi prevented him from crossing. He said, because it is the place of dwelling of Shiva and Parvati. No one could cross the Kailash, he said. And then he took, because he called him, he couldn't identify, though he knows Nandi, he is seeing the Nandi, face to face. You are like looking like some Vanara, how can you tell me all these things and all? Then Nandi got wild and said, because you don't know who I am, and I am giving you a curse. Finally, Vanara will be the root cause of your own sort of elimination. He gave him a curse. So he was wondering whether that curse is acting, because he is also a Vanara now. Is it that, he is wondering and all. And having, so, though he is not showing, the flicker of doubt is, coming to him and all. Then finally he gathers courage and asks him, who are you, for what purpose you have come and all. He says, because I am just a Vanara, I am not he also says, you don't seem to be a ordinary Vanara, you seem to be having so much of power and strength and all. You must be someone. And he says, no, I am a simple Vanara, and because I am working for Sugriva. And actually, because then he narrates, because the Sugriva was having a problem, and then finally he sought the help of Rama, who by chance encounter when he came to Kishkinda looking for Sita. And then, because then finally, the Mali was, Bali was eliminated. Finally, Sugriva was restored to his throne. And Sugriva has taken a vow to see that finally the Sita will be found and rescued. And that's why I have been sent as a messenger by Sugriva. This is what he says. He doesn't say Rama state. He says, I have come as Sugriva. See, he doesn't go beyond the protocol. He has been working for Sugriva as the minister, and the Sugriva has assigned the job to him. He had the confidence. Rama, based on that, Rama has given him all the sort of a wherewithal, grace, experience, enough strength, and everything, so that he can do the job. So he goes by that protocol. A diplomat, should never see, even however a great diplomat, he should not overlook the protocol in which he has to. He has to talk about, under whom, because he is reporting and what is his duty. And so my duty was to find Sita. I came here to find Sita only. That with that my job should be over. But then, I wanted to meet you. I can't meet you, because I can't get the permission to meet you. So I have to do all these things. When I was trying to do all these things, because then, all these people came and they started persecuted me as a self-protection, because these people got killed. I don't have any intention to kill anything. That's what he says. And then, I have come here, and then he also gives him advice. Look, because uh, you seem to be so knowledgeable, and in fact, you have done so much of a tapas and all. And then, in having so much of power and so much of knowledge, so much of strategy and all, why could not be seek atonement for all your the unrighteous deeds? Seeking the atonement and doing the righteous thing is going to nullify the ill effects of the unrighteous act you have done. So he gives him advice and all. As a sort of, because this is what Sugriva would counsel. And you take him as a friend and take this counsel, finally, because you will only be prospering, and you will be able to look after the country and look after these people, and they will also be happy. We do not want anyone to be unhappy, he says. So at that point of time, he says one word, Dharmascha adharmanas, dharmascha adharmanasana. Dharmascha adharmanasana, because always dharma and adharma is like Shreyash and Preyash, what we have seen in the Kathopanishad. When you are doing, because we have got both aspects in our life. Because we do certain things knowingly, inadvertently, unknowingly, as well as, it happens because of the circumstances, because we don't desist from doing it. Because only few people, had always desisted from doing something, even the circumstances forced them to do, like Mahatma Gandhi. He didn't, he stood, because by that's why, it was an experiment with the truth. Because the truth is such a powerful thing. If you want to live by the truth, there will be circumstances, when you will try to sort of give excuses for doing some other things. The way, because you are able to steadfastly go by that, because even giving up, because all the benefits, that may accrue in this world, giving all the sort of, the lovely life, because all the richness, everything that will come to you. But despite that, you do not look for that, but you finally try to abide by what is right, whatever your mind says, whatever your inner call says. And if you are able to listen to the inner call and do it, there is nothing like that. Antakarana Suddhi, which is a word, which has been used in our scriptures. If you have that, there is nothing more than that. This is what he advises. But then, because it is Vinashkale Viparita Buddhi, because Ravana is not going to, but basically he's hurt. He's lost his son. He is someone, who can't be imagining to do all these things has come and done it. And he says, because he has been sent by Sugriva on persistent, because he says, then not only that, because it is Rama, finally on Rama's order, Sugriva has sent me here. My job is to find Sita. I do not know what is going to happen. It all depends upon Rama. If Rama thinks, he will be able to do. And he also says, because don't think, you will be able to, you don't have any protection left now. He says, very clear words, what we recited, it comes there. Indra, Shiva, or anyone, no one can protect you now. Because in this point of time only, he says indirectly who is Rama. Rama is the one who can create three worlds and destroy three worlds in a moment. That shows he is the Brahman, Parabrahman. He's not, because ordinary, indirectly he says, it doesn't say in so many words. Very nicely, Valmiki has put these words in that, so that, he should at least understand. Now, at least he should be able to understand who is he and all. And knowing as a tapasvi, and he has come from the great lineage of Plasta, Ravana has got all the wherewithal and wisdom to understand that. But unfortunately, he has not exercised that wisdom to discriminate and all. He says, otherwise, because you will be finally, you will have to pay for the, not only your life, because of you, the entire, the people here, innocent people, everyone, will be perishing. He said, good for you, something like that, he says. But Ravana, because having been, succumbed to his ahankara, as well as, because his ego has been badly hurt by an unknown simple Vanara who came and caused so much and all. He doesn't want to leave him, and he says, because in the fit of anger, he has also lost his son. He has lost his Jambumali, one of the invincible persons in his army and all, four army chiefs. He want to take, revenge immediately. He says he has to be killed. He was steadfast. He is forcing, because he said that I am going to give the death sentence. Whether he will be able to execute or not, because he is not bothered at that time, because that is a fit of anger. And he is totally having so much of anguish. So he doesn't want to give back anything less than the death sentence. At that time, Vibhishna says, Vibhishna advises, in my wisdom, it's not the right thing, because you are such a knowledgeable person, you know all the Shastras. The Duta should not be succumbed to things. He can do all other small things, because you can tonsure him, you can maim him, and you can brand him. You can, so many say that is symbolic, you do that, but it should not be done anything in the. But of course, all said and done, because Ravana still has a doubt, because as to who is he, because he's not able to find. He only has heard Hanuman saying that Sugriva has sent me, and I am only a Vanara, and Rama has, had this problem, a chance encounter in Kishkinda. That's why I have come here and all. All these things, because he is not able to. Then finally he heeds to Vibhishna's advice, and he says, because all the Vanaras are very proud of their tail. So, because as human beings are having proud of their ego, because they're proud of themselves on I had done this, I did this and all. The monkeys or Vanaras, because they have, because the kapi, they have their tails, because they let the tail be, set on fire, he says. So once it is done, because all the Rakshasas, because they agree with, the boss as it is, because they want to give him some sort of a fitting rebuke, so that, he doesn't sort of think of doing any further damage, to. But Ravana, Hanuman, as such, he has got the protection of Indra, Varuna, as well as, because Brahma is there. And apart from that, at that point of time, Sita is also hearing as to what has happened after he left Shokavana, after having taken the permission of Sita. She comes to know, and she only prays. She doesn't have to pray, but I think, because indirectly she is a Prakriti, Mula Prakriti, and she thinks, because Agni should not affect him anyway, and because he should be, even Agni should protect him. In fact, that's what he says. And once he says, because it could be as a Mula Prakriti, it could be an order. As a Sita, it could have been sort of, she requests Agni, to protect him. But the Agni doesn't, even when it is a certain, he himself has got that protection, Hanuman. And apart from that, Agni was too pleased, because he was, Agni was under the control in Lanka. He can't do anything and all. He was under the control. All the 5 elements were under control in Lanka. All of them are looking for an opportunity to give their, the revenge, give the best, to see whatever can they do, because when vengeful gift, they can give it back. At that point of time, because once it has been set on fire, so all these people, the he was bound and they were taking him in a procession and all. His idea was, while he was being taken, since the Agni was not doing anything, and because he was only pleased to have the Agni, and the wind got pavan, because Vayu was giving the icy winds, he was enjoying. And in fact, as he was going around, suddenly, because he thought, why this fire should be wasted, and he lit everything which came in the way as the fire, all the mansions, all the palaces, except that of Vibhishana. He set everything on fire, all the gardens, all the monuments, everything was set on fire. And then, because as he was then he took a different shape and took an iron club, and all of them who were trying to sort of torment him and all, he just destroyed everyone, because in fact he killed all of them. And finally, he was just going around, over the sky to see if there is any place, he can still do. And he saw Ravana's palace. He says, I should not leave it. And then he also set the Ravana's palace also on fire, and he destroyed whatever other things. Only Vibhishana's palace and his living place was only there, and Ashokavanam, only they were left. The rest of them are all, because subject to destruction. And final, the depression all around, because people could not see. He made into a place, and it's like a funeral site. He made it. And then he was about to go with having burnt everything. Now he's taking his way back, to where to come, leaving the Lanka and all. Before that, he wants to ensure there is nothing that harms Sita. He takes, because that precaution just to see, because he finally wants to have a final look at that, because where Ashokavana, where she's sitting there, what is happening. With that, because having caused the destruction and having achieved the purpose and having found Sita, now he is going to embark upon the return flight back to meet Rama and tell him the great, because of the news, which he was looking for, and giving him the Chudamani. And that is going to be, because this is the next Sargas and are going to extend up to 67, 68. 67 and 68 is the Sargas where he will be meeting Rama. And Rama will so intently listen to what he says and his reaction, whatever he says, because there's so much of a, that is, because between the soul and Brahman, so much of it, because Sita and Rama, so much of a communion is there. We will come to know it is between the soul and Brahman. How the soul will have to seek Brahman, that will come in 67, 68. And in between, because in the course of this, because all this, Hanuman will narrate how it is going to be sort of linking to the entire Rama's greatness. And he gives such an importance to Sita. And it is entirely, in fact, Ramayana is supposed to be telling the story of Sita. He gives such a monumental, because the glorifying Sita in this next few chapters, we will be seeing that. With that, because we will be proceeding to week after next, because this week I will be traveling. So we will not be having any session on Friday, Saturday and Sunday. We will be having week after next, we will be having Friday, Saturday and Sunday till Ramanavami. We will be completing that. स्वस्ति प्रजापत परिपालयन्तां न्यायेन मार्गेण महीमहिंसा गोब्राह्मणेभ्यो शुभमस्तु नित्यं लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु काले वर्षतु पर्जन्ति पृथिवी च चालिनी तेषोऽयं शोभरहितो भ्रमणाः सन्तु निर्भयाः लाभस्तेषां जयस्तेषां कुतस्तेषां पराजयः येषां दिवर्ष्यामो हृदयस्थो जनार्दनः रामाय रामभद्राय रामचन्द्राय वेदसे रघुनाथाय नाथाय सीताय पतये नमः मंगलम कौसलेन्द्राय महनीय गुणाब्दे चक्रवर्ती धनुजाय सर्वभौमाय मंगलम कायेन वाचा मनसेन्द्रियैर्वा बुद्ध्यात्मना वा अनुष्कृते स्वभावात् करोमि यत्तत् सकलं परस्मै नारायणायेति समर्पयामि. Thank you, Prabhuda. So how was yesterday?